Welcome back to another episode of the Backholder Pod. Trump has won this election by a wide margin. Bunti, as someone who predicted that Trump will win, what are your thoughts?
When we make these predictions, we also caveat a lot of things, try to not to piss off 50% of the audience here. Come back to the questions about market, right? I think it's quite clear. If you watch the futures market, I think it's already went up. Crypto markets also went up. All this just shows that under Trump presidency, overall general market will do well. I think that one, we can attribute it to the tax policy because Trump prefer a lower tax, and then he also will pressure the Federal Reserve to cut interest rate further. All these actions are pro-market policy and actions, so I think that's definitely good for the market. The bad part, I think, is the bond market, because all these things, right, when you cut interest rate and then when you reduce the taxes, right, the government have to issue more bonds to fund all these expenses, right? That means more bond issuance means that the interest rate, especially the long tenor interest rate, will go up. For bond market, not so well. So I think that's the key highlight.
Eric, yeah, your Tesla up by 10+% again. Wow. Wow, I look so happy. What are your thoughts?
Right? Generally, I think that at the end of the day, right, even if like Trump wins or whatever not, right, Tesla still have to make the FSD work. If not, it's still back to square one. Like there will be a short-term boost, definitely, because of the Trump win.
Yeah, but now Elon has a supporter in the government, right? So when it comes to FSD approval process, I think when you have a good friend as a president, that will be a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
It should be something that's tangible, not just like on the surface only, right?
Yeah, and I think the part about them saying that they should cut regulations, I think specifically that should work out very well for Tesla and maybe SpaceX and maybe Neuralink. All his company all need to jump through a lot of hoops to get the regulators to approve. So now they are able to move a lot faster. Generally, I think the business should do slightly better, like under Trump, slightly better, trending up. But still, the breakthrough, I think if you ask any Tesla investor, will be definitely the FSD working as it's intended to. And then you have the robotaxi finally roll out, then we will see that really 10x return.
But I would just caution that because like Trump is planning to add in tariffs, right, for imports, especially coming from China.
Yeah.
China will also be doing their tariffs on US. I think Trump said increase tariffs for EVs coming from China so that there's no competition. So I think this, in a way, it could be bad for China also, bad for Tesla also. So there's pros and cons here.
I think if you think back about the previous time when he was in power, right, I think 2016, he also have this tariff thing, and then China also went back and forth. But the two companies that I think were relatively untouched was Apple and Tesla. I think because they both have significant manufacturing facilities in both countries, they employ a lot of people, so they were able to negotiate. Like I think this Tim Cook and Elon Musk, they have like kind of direct access to both the presidents. So they were able to say, okay you don't touch our company, and then both sides we will try to make it okay for you guys. So I think they had to kind of tread the middle ground, which I think they did well the previous time. So if Trump comes back and President Xi is still there, so like it's the old combi and then the heads, the CEO are still all the same. So I don't see as a big problem for these two companies. I'm not sure about the rest.
So I think for previously the past 4 years when Trump was in office, he was doing a lot of very crazy things, right? So he go and pull out he asked for more funding from NATO. He go and pull out from the climate whatever group. Then he go and meet the North Korea leader in Singapore. So Bunti, do you think these next 4 years, right, how will it be for the stock market?
I think last time, right, it was so like a shock and surprise to people, because during the time when Trump was president, he's really have this, like a wildcard kind of style. Like people don't know what he will do next. And he kind of used that as something to his advantage. Because as a president, you don't want people to know every one of your steps, right? You don't want you to be that easily guessed by people, like what you will do. So I think that's the part that the market don't like. Because it's like one day suddenly you slap a 10-20% tariff that actually affect all the trades, affect all the price, affect a lot of things now. So market don't like this kind of situation. Market like things that are predictable. Say for example, you do analysis on the company, right? You want to know this company will grow 10%. Doesn't matter what happened, you grow 10%. Doesn't matter what happened, you get your earnings, you get your share buyback. Market like that kind of situations. So this round when Trump come back, I think I would say that yes, there will still be all this uncertainty, but the good thing is that it is not totally new to us because we have seen those episodes before, right? So there are some preparations that's around. At least emotionally, we know that this kind of volatility will come in. But I think after all, if you look at his presidency, right, what he's trying to do is really just to help out US because he's serving as the US president, right? Say, for example, he want to bring jobs back to US to the extent that is possible. Say, for example, if there's new, let's say, car factories, right, he will want it to be built within US border and not in Mexico. You can say that it has some, like bad consequences. Say, for example, it might be bad for inflation because now instead of you are able to set up factories in some cheaper places, you can't do that anymore. So I think that's some implications. That's why in terms of inflation, maybe not so good because of all these policies that's around. Because once you step the tariff, right, all this price also eventually it will be paid by the consumer in US, right? So definitely there are some pro and con. But the negative part, one thing that I mentioned was bond market. The other things which I didn't mention just now definitely is Chinese market now, because you don't know, like, because right now, let's say Chinese economy, right, there's still a lot of goods that's being manufactured in China and their end consumers are still like mostly coming from US. It's a huge market there, right? So once US start to slap tariff or try to negotiate with China, I think more and more negative things might appear in the future. Then it will lead to some reaction or reactive policies from China's side now. So hopefully, like China already prepared with all this stimulus, right? Hopefully all this stimulus policy will help cushion out the impact, but it's still yet to see that. We still don't know the detail how this will play out, right? It will be next 4 years and not just like next few months. It will be a long-term things lah. So let's see.
Actually, I'm more curious, like, because right now Trump he has his court case still ongoing. From what I searched online, he has like 34 felony counts. Yeah, so and his next court hearing will be on, I think, 26 November. I think it's unlikely that he'll be sentenced to jail, like a president going to jail immediately after getting elected. That will be super weird. So most likely it will be cut down or delayed for another 4 years, I guess.
I think this is quite normal things. For US, right, everyone's suing each other, right? These are just normal things. And now, given that he'll be the president, right? So I think there are things that he can direct certain things. And basically, I don't think he will spend a lot of time on those court cases. I think there are ways around it. US, right, their policy, their government, how they operate, right, is actually quite flexible one. I think as long as you are the president, you have certain power. We don't have to worry too much about all those court cases and stuff like that. It's just distraction, I think.
But coming back to the Trump presidency, right, do you think that he will be like previously when he was the president, he will kind of pressure the Fed people to cut rates?
Actually, I don't remember his pressure on
Jerome
Powell.
He did. He did.
I don't remember actually. But I think, let's say, of course, when he's giving speech, he's very vocal about it. Okay, he say a lot of things which sounds very stupid or very high profile, things that people don't expect a president will say. But still, right, all this still need to work through the regulations, rule of law kind of things. The power that he has is definitely like he can appoint someone else to be the Fed governor, but that's after the terms, right? Like Jerome Powell terms end. So I think even though he want to make some changes, I think he still need to follow all the rules. Because for US, right, Federal Reserve or monetary policy independence, right, is actually very, very important. Because it's not just US policy alone. It's just not about the interest rate alone. It's also about the currency, about the rule of law, about the everything that ties to financials, right? So this Federal Reserve independence, right, is very, very important. So I think he will have his way to influence things, but it won't be as easy as do this now. Now I'm the governor. I want you cut, you go and cut. You don't cut, I fire you today. It's not that easy. Although on the surface, right, it looks like, he can do everything he wants, right? But still, there's rule of law. So you have to mix two things, right? One is rule of law is still there. The other thing is that as a president, he will have some power. It could be some power that is working behind the scene, which we don't know how it works, right? But he will have more influence on how to direct things.
So do you guys think that US dollar will strengthen?
Actually, if you think from trade perspective, you also don't want USD to strengthen because you want to export more from US perspective, right? You want a cheaper US currency, but you don't want the currency collapse. So not so direct. This is not an easy questions to answer.
Okay, don't need to bring in all the reasoning, all the economic theory and all that. just your gut feel, do you think that like this a very convincing electoral result will it cause the USD to strengthen, at least in the short term?
No, I think no. I think like all this policy about cutting tax, all right, I think it will lead to weaker US currency because inflation will be higher. So USD will weaken. That's my view. Just one data point.
Kelvin, eh?
I also think it's the interest rate. It's not about Trump. Yeah, it's more about the interest rate thing. Then the other thing that I'm wondering about, like, because Putin clearly wants Trump to win. So this is another wild card, right, for the stock market. If Trump wins and his relationship is allegedly good with Putin, how would this affect this Ukraine war?
The war will end. Very simple. Will end within 6 months' time from today.
Is that a bet?
Bet chicken is not here. No one asked me for a bet. But I would definitely think that it will happen because whether the war continue or it will end, right? US actually have a lot of influence because if essentially US is the one that's helping Ukraine, right? At least financially, maybe some military, some it's all related. So when a new president say that he wants certain things to happen, it will happen. When it comes to these kind of things, he really have the power.
I suspect so there's a possibility, right? One is he say, oh, Ukraine, how come you are giving so much money to Ukraine? They stop all the aid to Ukraine. Then Russia, because Russia can just throw more people onto Ukraine, then this war could end. Or he go and help butter some negotiation between Ukraine and Russia. So yeah, I also think that it could end up because Trump, he just want to strong hand this whole thing. That being said, any predictions for the stock market next 1 year over Trump's win?
Stock market, yeah.
Yeah, stock market.
I think will be good.
I don't recall when was the last time we predict that market will go down. Gloomy kind of outlook, right? Nobody dare to make the kind of predictions. Right? It's always good, especially looking at the futures market all green already. I think it is green not just because it is Trump. Even let's say if it is Kamala, like huge win, right? I think it's also green. The red is reserved for not clear count until tomorrow, still no result, the kind of situation. Then it will down by 5% or more. Definitely now we have a conclusive elections. People can move on, and then once you know who is the president, you also know like how you should position your portfolio. Once all these things are set, right, that means there's less uncertainty. That's always good for the markets. So that's why I think that at least over the short term, market will be going up.
Same. I think I don't see any bad news coming for US in the short term. Tomorrow there will be the Fed meeting. There will be another round of rate cut. Then the market will boom another time. So yeah, unless there's some bad black swan event, I guess the market will continue going up and continue to be overvalued lah.
Yeah, what lah? This round we try not to waste our audience time too much. We try to be reasonable here. All right.
Straight to the okay. Bye.